Hey crypto friends, for those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Garrett and welcome to Altcoin Radar. Today we are going to be taking a look at the blur charts and we're going to see where it might be headed, and we will cover both bullish and bearish scenarios as well, just to simply cover all of the different possibilities. And towards the end of the video, I will also cover the overall macro structure of the overall altcoin market as well. Now, for those of you who love trading crypto and would like to try out the same crypto exchanges that I use on a regular basis, feel free to go ahead and try out either the MEXC exchange or the Blowfin exchange with the links in the video description down below this video. Now, the reasons why I love these two exchanges is one, MEXC has some of the cheapest trading fees in the entire industry, which means you get to keep more of your profits, which is very, very nice. Now, the reason why I love Blowfin is because they allow anybody from anywhere to be able to sign up and trade crypto futures on. So if you are from the United States and you want to trade crypto futures, you can do it here on Blowfin, which is where actually I currently trade my crypto futures as well. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the blur chart on the daily. So when we're taking a look at blur on the daily right now, we can clearly see we're currently ranging here between the 29-cent area and 48 cents. And we recently just created a new midterm high here around 48 cents, which is very good to see. We were kind of ranging in the area of 29 cents to 44 cents, but it's nice to see that we broke out a little bit higher into this range a little bit higher up here, which is very nice to see. Now, what I would personally like to see in a bullish scenario happening here is I would like to see basically this being a lower high, or this being the base of a new fully functional uptrend going on here. Okay, I want to see this act as a lower high, or sorry, a higher low, and then I want to see another higher low being created right around in here somewhere before we end up going up and breaking through this new resistance here and breaking up into the new layer between 48 cents and 58 cents, and eventually breaking through that and going through these next layers all the way up here. All right, the goal here that I want to see happening here is to create more and more higher lows at these bigger resistance levels, and continuing to make our way up further and further each and every time in a step-by-step fashion. All right, that is going to pretty much tell me personally that, okay, things are starting to look really, really healthy for Blur going forward. Now, Blur is one of those projects that's heavily tied to Ethereum, obviously. So it's one of those projects where if Ethereum is pretty much doing good and performing well, Blur is most definitely going to perform pretty decent as well. Blur is pretty much one of those NFT marketplaces, and it is on Ethereum, so that is nice. And I fully expect that it will end up doing well in the long term here. Now, it did just recently have a pretty big uprise, which was very nice to see. And where we are currently dropping right now, or the area that we did end up dropping, was pretty much just a cool off period from going up so darn much in recent months. All right. So in a complete bullish scenario here, what I see happening is, my guess is we will come down from where we're at right now, or actually price is pretty much consolidating right in this area right now, as you guys can clearly see, which is very, very, very nice to see. And if we end up consolidating here and end up gaining momentum from here, I fully expect that we'll end up going right through this resistance level and hopefully going straight through to the top layer of the top of this next resistance area at 58, almost 59 cents. And then I assume that we will end up coming back down to kind of, what am I trying to say here? To come down and kind of cool off, I guess you could say, before gaining momentum again right around in this area where we've got some decent support, some decent midterm support, and then eventually gain momentum again to blast off and go right through this resistance area up to the next level of resistance here at 63, almost 64 cents, and then kind of do the same thing again, come back down to cool off, and then gain momentum again and go up into the next layer here between 63, almost 64 cents, and 73 cents. And basically, you guys continue this higher and higher low thing going on each and every time we go up higher and higher. That's realistically what we want to see happening here. But if, obviously if bad news ends up coming out, or we get some kind of bearish news, or some kind of black swan event, or, just some typical random bullshit that usually seems to happen in crypto at the most random times, what I could see happening here is obviously we'll end up most likely dropping, and obviously we want to look for support at these midterm levels here, which one would be right around here, around 35 cents. Another one would be right around here, which would be around 32 cents, and then this very lower level here at 29 cents. All right. But if all of those do end up failing, there is a chance that we could end up going even deeper than that. And if we do end up going deeper than that, I mean, there is all kinds of other smaller layers of, support way down here, but realistically we have got very strong support down here at 29 cents, especially since that's pretty much where the big run ended up starting out from, was towards the end of November in 2023, and that's when we started going up. So we've got all kinds of support down here. So realistically, considering we've been consolidating in this area for, let's see here, we've been consolidating here in this area for about 55 days now. Realistically, I expect that we will have a move to the upside here, hopefully very, very soon. That would be the nice thing to see anyway. Now, with support and resistance levels aside, let's go ahead and take a look at some indicators and see what the indicators are telling us. Now, when we're looking at the indicators here, obviously the most important ones here are the 50 period and the 200 period, which the 50 period would be the pink one and the 200 period would be the yellow one. All right. Now, for me to feel extremely bullish on this, as you guys can clearly see, price ended up going all the way up to the very top of the 200 period EMA, but it got rejected and started to come back down. And now we are ranging right here down by the 20 period EMA. And I fully expect that, we will eventually end up bouncing from this area. Hopefully, that's the hope, and end up going up and finally breaking through this 200 period EMA. That's realistically what we want to see here. Long term, we want to see all of the EMAs below all of the price action for us to, know that we have got fully good bullish momentum going on here. All right. Now, if we go ahead and take off the EMAs and look at the Bollinger Bands, why isn't it going? There we go. All right, we can clearly see now with Bollinger Bands, for those of you who aren't familiar with Bollinger Bands, typically when price action follows underneath the moving average here, which is the pink line, that typically means that we have bearish momentum going on and there's not enough bullish momentum to continue a trend higher. All right, and that's typically what you see here. As you guys can clearly see, price action during this bearish momentum phase was way below the moving average here, and we kept going. We went down and then we went up to retest it again, and then we went down and then up to retest it again, and then down, up to retest it again, and then down, before we finally started to consolidate right in here and started to gain momentum again to go up and through it. But momentum clearly wasn't strong enough to be able to go straight through it and start a new bullish uptrend. So realistically, the longer that we stick around here, I fully feel like the longer that we stick around here, the bigger the push is going to be when we do finally end up breaking out to the upside. All right. So if we go ahead and take out the Bollinger Bands and now look at RSI, we can clearly see that things are just below the neutral level here, and the price line is above the RSI as well, which typically signals that things are pretty things aren't as bullish as they should be. All right. It typically means that price is going to probably end up coming down a little bit more, but that should not be something to be scared about or anything, because realistically, like I said, we've got all kinds of support down here at 29 cents, and that's the kind of the key level that we want to be looking for a potential bounce back or up to the upside and to kind of flip it and go back upwards. All right. Now, if we go ahead and take a look at the overall altcoin market cap chart, we can clearly see that the altcoin market cap has been following a rising wedge pretty much this whole time for quite a few days now. I mean, we've been following this rising wedge here for, let's see here, same thing, about 55 days. All right. And during that 55 days, I mean, altcoins have, gradually started going up and up. As you guys can clearly see here, we got a higher low here, higher low here, a higher low here, and another higher low here. And every single time that's happened, we typically will go up and down and then up and then down and then up and then down and then up and then down. And each time we usually end up retesting the bottom of this range, or the bottom of this trend right here, and then going back up. All right. Now, what I personally want to see here What kind of worries me here is, one, rising wedges typically result in price eventually breaking down to the downside. I don't want to see that happening, but realistically, there is also a good chance that it could end up going up and rising above it and breaking through and, going even higher. All right. Realistically, that's what we want to see happening here. But something that worries me a little bit here is, each time that we end up coming downwards, we end up hitting the bottom of this channel. But each time we go upwards, we've had 2 times where we've tried to go upwards to hit the top of the channel, but we didn't even make it up there. All right. That pretty much tells me that overall, bulls are not fully in control, and bulls are losing momentum as they get halfway up through this channel. And that's not a good thing. That pretty much tells us that bears are beating them, and bears are beating them, as you guys can clearly see. And there's a good chance that we could eventually end up coming down to the downside. All right. Now, I'm not saying that will happen. All right. I'm not a magician. I can't see the future, so I can't tell you exactly what will happen, obviously. But that is a decent possibility that could eventually happen. Now, if that does end up happening, some key levels of support that we want to be looking at here are going to be $662 billion. And then the next one is $623 billion. Next one after that is $595 billion. And the next one after that is right around the $560 billion level. Now, realistically, for the sake of the rest of this bull run, or the rest of this bull market, if this bull market does continue and we do continue going even higher to make an even higher leg, if we do end up going down, I don't see us going any further than this level right down here. All right. But overall here, guys, before I go ahead and wrap up this video, if you enjoyed this video and you got some decent value out of it, please make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button below this video to help me out here. Leave me a comment below on your personal thoughts on where you think the price of Blur is going to go in the short term here. And for those of you who ended up sticking around and watching throughout the whole video, thank you guys very much for watching, and I hope to see you all in my future videos.